25 workers at GE Appliances in Orlando, Florida, voted in favor of unionization with the IUE-CWA 20-5.
Way to go. Shout out IUE.
Indeed. Let's go ahead and talk about what happened last week in Southern labor. This is a segment that we do every week. We are a Southern Union radio program. We are on terrestrial radio stations across the South. And, working folks across the South are moving. We're doing stuff all the time, and not enough people know about it. So we like to take a little bit of time every Saturday morning to do a little bit of rapid fire recount. So here's what happened last week in new election filings. Like I said, it was a big week for election filings in the Southern United States and her colonies. 2,455 workers filed for a union election in just last week, the last 7 days, in just the Southern United States and her colonies. That is amazing. Here they are. 25 workers at Science News Media Group in Washington, D.C. filed for a union election with the Washington Baltimore News Guild, Local 32035. 84 drivers and merchandisers at PepsiCo in Collierville, Tennessee filed for a union election with the International Brotherhood of Teamsters, Local 667. 9 workers at Lush Cosmetics in Friendswood, Texas filed for a union election with the United Food and Commercial Workers, UFCW, Local 455. 6 workers at Given Glass and Glazing in South Charleston, West Virginia, filed for a union election with the International Union of Painters and Allied Trades, IUPAT, District Council 53, Local Union 1195. 950 workers, from apprentice to journeyman, meter techs to heavy equipment operators, and more at Luma Energy Serve Company, which is the electricity provider in San Juan, Puerto Rico, filed for a union election with the International Brotherhood of Electrical Workers, IBEW, Local 222. 17 workers at Starbucks in Farmers Branch, Texas, filed for a union election with Starbucks Workers United. 8 workers at Cisco in Louisville, Kentucky, filed for a union election with the General Drivers, Warehousemen, and Helpers Local Union 89, which is an affiliate of the Teamsters. 7 staff for the union, the American Federation of State, County, and Municipal Employees, AFSCME, in Washington, D.C., filed for a union election with the Washington Baltimore News Guild Local Union 32035. 25 employees for the Allied Universal Security Services in Washington, D.C., filed for a union election with the Law Enforcement Officers Security Union. 31 service techs and advisors at Honda of Frontenac in St. Louis, Missouri, filed for a union election with the International Association of Machinists and Aerospace Workers. 12 workers at Marijuana Dispensary Home State in Kansas City, Missouri, filed for a union election with the Teamsters, Local 955. 6 workers at Panelmatic St. Louis in Earth City, Missouri, filed for a union election with IBEW Local 1. 780 workers, huge unit, at Pico Foods in West Point, Mississippi, filed for a union election with UFCW Local 1529. 215 workers at Phoenix Paper in Wickliffe, Kentucky, filed for a union election with the United Steelworkers International Union. 200 workers at Grupo Antolin in Kansas City, Missouri, filed for a union election with Teamsters Local 41. 50 workers at Morton Salt in Cape Canaveral, Florida, filed for a union election with the USW. 30 workers at Battles Transportation in Washington, D.C., filed for a union election with the Amalgamated Transit Union, Local 689, and one group of workers withdrew their petition for a union election last week. 300 at Coca-Cola Southwest Beverages in Fort Worth, Texas, withdrew their petition for a unionization with the Teamsters, Local 997. We didn't have too many election results last week, and they were decidedly not good, but we did save the best for last. Starting off, 4 workers at CTI Foundation Terminal Incorporated in Savannah, Georgia, tied 2-2 in their election on whether or not to unionize with the USW, meaning the election is a loss for the pro-unionization workers. 7 sprinkler fitters and apprentices at E-Fire Southern in Gulfport, Mississippi, voted against unionization with the United Association of Journeymen and Apprentices of the Plumbing and Pipe Fitting Industry, UA, Local 669. 13 workers at Papa John's in Houston, Texas, voted against unionization with the General Service Union, 0-2. Interesting. 10 security guards at Fideicomiso Olímpico in Salinas, Puerto Rico, voted against unionization with the Union Bonafide de Celeste. The Bonafide Union of Security Officers is what it means in English. I looked it up. 2-6, they voted against unionization. 67 workers at Southwest Key Programs in El Paso, Texas, voted against unionization with the International Union of Operating Engineers, Local 351, 20-42. Like I said, though, saved the best for last because 25 workers at GE Appliances in Orlando, Florida, voted in favor of unionization with the Industrial Division of the Communication Workers of America, IUE-CWA, 20-5.
Way to go. Shout out IUE.
Indeed. Hey, 5 seconds. Just wanted to say that this is only possible because of our donors. If you want to see more of this, then consider donating yourself at tvlr.fm/donate. Strikes and bargaining updates. This has been a huge story, and we need to get somebody on to talk about this because this has just been crazy, and we haven't been able to talk about it because there's been so much going on. But despite pleas from students, faculty members, and academic organizations to change course, and despite protesters disrupting its Friday meeting, the West Virginia University Board of Governors voted yesterday to slash 143 faculty positions and 28 academic programs from its flagship Morgantown campus. Huge cuts to the university from the mismanagement of the university president. Absolutely despicable. Sanitation workers, members of the United Electrical Workers UE Local 150 for the city of Durham, North Carolina, returned to work last week after a 6-day strike, even though their demands had not yet been met. Their struggle for higher pay continues. They've been continuing to hold events after their return to work to apply pressure to the city, and this morning they announced that the city had agreed to a $3,000 bonus for every city employee, which is short of the $5,000 bonus that the union was demanding, but still better than a $0 bonus. The union is still going to continue fighting for higher wages and the rest of that bonus. Shangri-La dispensary workers with the United Food and Commercial Workers UFCW Local 655 in Columbia, Missouri are still on strike. They began in May. Three Brothers coffee workers with UFCW Local 1995 in Nashville, Tennessee have been on strike since June. Memphis soy protein production workers with the Bakery, Confectionery, Tobacco Workers, and Grain Millers International Union, BCTGM Local 390G, have also been on strike since June. The UAW went on a partial strike last week. All the big three UAW represented facilities in the South remain at work, but have been called on by the UAW International to maintain constant strike readiness. About 10% of the UAW's big three automaker membership is out on strike now. In policy, politics, and legislation, the Brookwood Baptist Health Center will close 2 labor and delivery units in the Birmingham area next month, making Shelby County the largest county in the state without a labor and delivery department at 230,000 people. 250,000 people in the United States in the year of our Lord 2023 without a labor and delivery unit. Insane. Help at Home, which is a home health provider, is completely pulling its services out of Alabama at the end of September and plans to lay off nearly 800 employees after blaming the state's inaction to expand Medicaid.
Wow. How many more jobs have to be lost? How many more lives have to be lost?
U.S. Senator from Alabama Katie Britt last week came out in favor of free breast cancer diagnosis tests for women, saying, quote, "No woman across America should be faced with the impossible choice between affording basic necessities such as food or being able to confirm whether she has a life-threatening illness." Now that's interesting because she has not come out in favor of free healthcare for women with a positive diagnosis, which presumably means that she is okay with women across America being faced with the impossible choice between affording basic necessities such as food and being able to treat a life-threatening illness. She just wants you to know that you're going to die. Better than nothing, I guess, but really kind of brings into question, when you start going down that road, it's like, what is the stopping point? And she does, very incoherent. The U.S. Department of Labor proposed a new rule that would strengthen protection for farm workers in the H-2A visa program and help prevent abuses that undermine wages and standards for all agricultural workers. The proposed rule would add new protections for worker self-advocacy, better protect workers against retaliation, make foreign labor recruitment more transparent, and enhance the department's enforcement. This proposal builds on a final rule the department published in October 2022 that modernized key aspects of the H-2A program. The U.S. Environmental Protection Agency, EPA, as part of its People, Prosperity, and the Planet program, announced a $100,000 research grant funding to the University of Alabama in Huntsville to develop a low-cost household water filter that removes PFAS. This project will help promote clean drinking water supplies, particularly in small, rural, tribal, and disadvantaged communities. You just saw a clip from the Valley Labor Report. We are live every Saturday morning from 9:30 a.m. till 12:30 p.m. And we pride ourselves on keeping all of our content free to everybody so that we can talk to as many working folks as possible. If you support the work that we're doing, you think that it's important, you think that it's good, then consider making a monthly contribution to the project, and you can do that on our website, tvlr.fm.